Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. And by all, I mean the only one that is here, Dostich Mario. I can see there are three people here, but there's only one showing. There we go. Chandra Kanth is here. Says, hi, Miran, male 29, India. Thank you for that. Dostich Mario has a question. Dostich, your problem, I can see your comments are coming through quite often. And that tells me that you're constantly ignoring the rule number one of getting over intrusive thoughts and HOCD and so on. What is the rule number one? Understand the separation between brain and you. Don't treat these thoughts, images, suggestions as if they have any credibility, but you treat them as what the textbook explanation of OCD is, as the French call it, the doubting disease. So you're in the loop of doubting, even if you make a progress of learning some information about the behavior of HOCD and OCD. You continuously fall back doubting yourself as soon as you read an article, some bullshit somewhere. Some bullshit somewhere. Look at all the comments that you're sending me. It's all seeking assurances rather than simply not caring about giving assurances by just saying, okay, whatever. You're looking for assurance, therefore, you're going to look under every rock to find assurances for what you've always liked to be, what you've always been. But now there's a glitch of malfunction in the signaling system of the brain and intrusive thoughts overwhelming you, and you keep paying attention to them. So you're looking under every rock to find the reason to assure yourself rather than you say, I don't bloody need any reason to know who I am, what I've been, what I prefer to be, what my gender is, what my inclination is. It's always been, and I love it for it to be as it has always been. But instead, while you're looking under every rock to get that assurance, as soon as you hear some idiot somewhere says some shit, that you allow that to create a total malfunction in your logic, and you believe the garbage, but you don't believe the science and psychological research and all the information about HOCD and what OCD stems from and what it is and how it behaves. And you're constantly giving credit to the garbage that you read. That some people have said that the HOCD, TOCD gets so bad that it's so convincing that convinces them to go and get a surgery. I mean, what the fuck is that? Do you actually buy into that reasoning that some craziness in the brain convinces someone who does not wish to change anything about himself, and he actually falls for the bullshit that is happening in the brain and goes and gets a surgery without cause, without any real reason for it, but only the fact that is believed his malfunctioning brain, rather than going to a psychiatrist, psychologist, and ask their opinion, discuss it, and do examinations, and then check the hormones, and then come up to some conclusion to warrant such drastic measure. Yet you're constantly falling for these sort of utterings and rhetorics and articles and give them credit of all kinds and bamboozle yourself and not even know if you're coming or going. You need to have certain conviction about what you prefer, what you are, what you've always been, and what you love to be, which I know what it is. You're heterosexual, and your fear of not being is driving you nuts. What fear? Don't give a shit about all these suggestions. Comes from the brain. The brain sound. Brain doesn't have any intellect. You're falling for it. So you're one of those people who, if somebody comes along in the street and says, "Hey, look, if you buy this gadget that I'm selling you, you can travel through time." Mm, and you buy it. You believe in it. You're so gullible to the point that your own brain is shitting you on you, and you're just searching to find truth outside somewhere by some fucking article somewhere. Why don't you stand your ground? What you like, what you love, what you are, what you've been, what you prefer, protect it. Protect it from all these nonsense that shows up in your brain. Learn what Dr. Schwartz teaches, Dr. Phillipson, Dr. Jan Weiner teach how to deal with intrusive thoughts. I've got hundreds of videos on this channel, and all it needs for you to one word somewhere in some article to say some shit, and you take that negative, you take that narrative, and you're all fucked up. What happened to your belief in yourself, in your selection, in your choice? Hmm? You can't live in fear. You got to take your balls out in your hands and say, here it is. My balls, my conviction, my choices, and fuck everything else that comes to my brain or anybody else tries to promote or mislead me. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. Your belief in you, your decision, your choice, and your veto. We live by our choices and our vetoes, not by suggestion, thoughts, images, ideas, and this and that. People so easily get convinced. And look at the article you're reading. They have been convinced, meaning it's not the truth, it's not the fact. They've been convinced, meaning they've been coerced. Otherwise, what you are, who you are, what you want to be, what you've always been, doesn't need being convinced from outside of you. You know what it is, and you know what you want, and you protect it. Stand by it. Regardless if the world comes in front of you, says some shit, you say, oh, fuck you all. That's my choice, my preference. This is what I am. This is what I've always been. This is what I want to be, and so on and so forth. Protect yourself. What happened to your protection mechanism, survival mode? The first thing you got to do is don't listen to your fucking brain. That's not an intellect. It's a garbage apparatus that can help you to figure out things, can also put you in trouble by figuring things wrong. But you think the brain is not but you think brain is infallible? Jesus. If you really love yourself and love your fiance, as you say, and all that, then you should get rid of these things by not paying attention to them. Not every time it comes to your head, you're upside down. The whole life plan seems in jeopardy. Why? Keep on going straight to your destination and goals and stop seeking assurances. Be brave, protect yourself. Pissing me off. It's like you have not seen any of these videos and you don't care. Watch them, educate yourself, not keep watching it and come back to the same shitty narrative. It's like all it takes is just a little bit to derail you from the facts. All right. And, it does piss me off because I care about you guys so much. And I hate to see you guys waste your lives and not pay attention to all the research and all the logics and all the information psychology, psychotherapists spend their life researching on that. Dr. Grable using her postgraduate student, Carl Smith, to prove the cluster of activities in the brain seems to be one action to the brain. The neuroscience of habits, the behavior of OCD, subsets of OCD. Dr. Schwartz spent all his life researching OCD and the behavior of OCD. Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner spent all their life researching, consulting people to learn about behavior of HOCD, OCD, subsets of OCD, educating people. But if you constantly want to go back to the bullshit that is being created in your head and many other people's head who suffer from OCD and OCD subsets, and you just believe in the nonsense and treat the brain as if it's an intellect, well, then you can't get out of this. It's like you got a knee pain and you go to the doctor and says, my knee hurts. And he gives you some physiotherapy, and you don't go to physiotherapy. Or you go to physiotherapy and she gives you all the instructions what to do to strengthen your knee, and you don't do it. And you keep saying, but if I put my foot like this, it hurts. Well, because you're not doing the exercises is going to cure your knee. But you keep reading about, if the knee is hurting this way, then it's going to be getting worse. And so, yeah, if you don't do anything about it and you keep abusing it, it's just going to linger. It's like you have some kind of, I don't know, stomach upset, and you go to the doctor and gives you a pill, and you don't take the pill, but you keep saying, oh, but my stomach is hurting. Or the doctor says, okay, what did you eat? You say, I ate this and that. He says, don't eat these things. And you go back and you eat those things. And you say, oh, my stomach hurts. It still hurts, doctor. Well, because you've been keep treating it the way you did before. Same thing with your OCD. You keep listening and being affected by the bullshit that you read here and there, and you wonder why you can't get rid of them, because you are constantly training your brain to constantly treat these thoughts as important and get engaged in debating with them. So you're actually training your brain to keep thinking about intrusive thoughts and engaging with it, contrary to what the experts have been teaching us, which is recognize that it's intrusive thought, call it for what it is, relabel it, and go on about your business, rather than start debating with it, data hunting with it, and fighting with it, and engaging energy with it. Recognize that's what it is. That's OCD. It's not me. That's intrusive thought. It's not me. That's HOCD. It's not me. Go on about your business. And if you keep doing that, eventually brain realizes that you don't give a shit. You're not moved by it. You're not affected. And this little ant just ruined a glass of my good water. Why did you go in there? You don't need that much water. See? Lack of brain. All right. So we have Chandra Kant. Kanth, Kanth. Okay, I got to be careful pronunciation. Says, hi, Meran, male 29, India. Chandra says, as I commented offline, I want to understand few things. I was in love with divorced girl. She was adoring me until she came to know my caste. Ah, yeah, I remember. By birth, which I don't have control. I mean, this business of caste, I made a video on it, and let me put that video up here. It's a long time ago. I really, it has good points and bad points, but caste is not supposed to cast the shadow of the doubt on your own abilities to have a great life. It's some kind of a regulation that traditionally some people came up for whatever reason, but it's not a determining factor of who you are. People in India, many of them who believe in this sort of thing, they think as if caste is really going to set out the quality of life. Caste is actually for the benefit of the parents, so they can say, yeah, I mean, our daughter is married to a family who's got the same amount of money and positions as we have. It's not about what the girl and the boy actually care. It's about the parents to kind of feel like I'm part of the society in my level. What level? You could have no money to do anything with it. You could be an amazing human being, wise and educated and helpful and humanitarian. And you could be very wealthy or very educated and an asshole to the core. What is this caste business all about? Most of it is just bullshit, fooling yourselves as if what your forefathers were all about and what they accomplished, now it is going to actually be representing you and how you live your life. No, you can be an asshole, but your forefathers were great. Or your forefathers could have not made much out of themselves because of the opportunities that they lacked, but you have made a great thing out of yourself with wisdom and education and compassion and working on yourself and developing and expanding your abilities and your knowledge and so on and so forth. It's just, and if somebody really switches her or his mind because of some caste bullshit, well, they can go and jump in the lake. Jesus. How shallow can this be? To a point, I can see if they're so far apart in the way of upbringing and habits and so on and values. Yeah. But just because of economic situations or some grandfather had some kind of a title and this one doesn't and so on. But in reality, today, they're similar. They're both honest. They're living their lives and having some food on the table and their manners are well and so on. What else do you want? In that case, the caste business is nothing but bullshit. That's my opinion, of course. And let me find that video. Tonight, I thought I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm getting pissed off from the first couple of questions. I'm pissed off at this ant too. Ruined my water. All right. Okay. Let's get a hold of this. There we go. So let's cast. Search engine, cast. There we go. Cast canceled marriage. Cast problem broke up with me because of our past. Okay. So here's two links that I'm going to put for you so you can enjoy them. And perhaps you can use it to ask her to watch it as well if she likes to. And if she doesn't, she want to just live in the darkness of her values in regards to caste, then let her be and just move on. It's not worth your time. If someone is so closed minded or shallow, that it actually doesn't believe her own experience with you and relies on caste to describe the man that she loves or she values, well, then that's not your girl. You can do better. Okay, so Tag says, hi, Miran, male 26, South Africa. Hello, Tag. Says, how can you stop worrying about your HOCD thoughts and mind scenarios and what not about them coming to life and actually acting on them? And how can you move forward? Because you're interpreting these thoughts. The whole idea of being able to understand and rewire your brain is to not entertain these thoughts as they have no roots. Their roots not in you. Their roots are outside, meaning there are thoughts and suggestions that are not related to you. They are production of an organ that is gone haywire and it's malfunction in its signaling system, doesn't know what it's really creating, but its programming, its function is to pick up anything that is found in its inventory of topics as far as exists in the world, the news of it, the information about it has entered the consciousness. Any product line, any technology, any lifestyle, any inclination, any food stuff, any colors, any toys, any rockets, any aircrafts, anything about this world, including all talks and topics of sexual orientations and lifestyles and all other designs and products and um, all matters of this life, they find their way into the consciousness. And the brain doesn't uh, discriminate, doesn't understand the difference between this and that. So makes thoughts with whatever is available here. But you, as the entity who has awareness, instead of judging the usefulness of the thought or suggestion or the images, you accept them instead of saying, well, just like a thought of something that you have no use for, it shows up, such as, I don't know, a machine that turns cat poo to dog poo. Either way, you have no use for the poo, whether it's cat poo, or the dog poo. But it's a machine that came up. So if that comes to your head, what do? Oh my God, I gotta have that machine. It came to my head. I must have a machine that turns cat poo to dog poo, or turns my poo to dog or to elephant poo. You have no absolute use for it. But just because it's shown up in your brain, you think, oh, my brain is me. So it must mean something because my brain is my intellect. So if there is such an idea in my head, I must act upon it. I must take it serious. But you don't, do you? Because you know it's ridiculous. It's an idea about a machine that turns dog poo to cat poo, or cat poo to dog poo, or your poo to elephant poo. You see, there's no logic to it. There's no use for you in it. So what do? You recognize it, label it as some silly, useless thought, and you label it as not my thought, rubbish. You go on about your life. But God forbid if that rubbish thought, it's about your inclination. which you know exactly who you are, what you prefer, and what you enjoyed your life, and so on. But as soon as something like that shows up in your brain, oh my God, I must have been that all my life and I didn't know. Well, what do you mean? You were dead? Your brain was alive, but you were dead because you have an awareness. Yeah, there is an awareness that is beyond the reach of the brain, that the brain cannot reach that level of awareness that you are, not the brain. And this has been proven since 1,000 years ago by Aristotle philosophically and by modern science in neurosurgery. Such brilliant doctors and surgeons such as Dr. Penfield, Dr. Sperry, Dr. Owen, Dr. Libet, brilliant studies and research, Nobel Prize echelon type of study have proven that you're not the brain is not you. Yet when some shit shows up in your brain, you think, oh, brain says I am, so I must be. What if tomorrow the brain says you're a tomato? What's the difference? When you know you don't want to be, you've never been, you have no interest to be tomato, and the idea of tomato comes to your head, how come you don't accept that? But even more important than that, you know who you are, what your inclination, what your gender, what your interest it is. It's always been, and what you want it to continue to be. Yet an idea, a thought, an image of totally opposite of your interest and your choices and the way you've always been and want to be shows up in your head, suddenly you're falling apart. Oh my God. What happened? What's the difference between this and tomato? Neither one you want. So why is it that you get a glitch? Oh, because it feels so real. Well, brain has a capability to make everything virtually so real. You imagine yourself in a vineyard in Paris with the tour and the tour guide and so many other people, and it's out of season in the vineyard. All grapes are green and sour, and the guide will give you each a cluster of green sour grapes and ask you guys to close your eyes and bite into it, and it's sour like God knows what, and then back it up, chase it with a half a lime and lemon to squeeze in your mouth by yourself, and the whole sourness makes your whole mouth full of saliva. And if you focus on that, you can see you've got saliva, mouth water in your mouth right now, even though there is no sour grape here, there is no lime or lemon squeezed in your mouth, but yet the body has reacted to salivate. Why? Because the idea that the brain puts into your screen of your head, the suggestions have the power to make your body react. But you don't believe that actually you had a sour grape or a lime. How come you don't fall for that, even though your body reacts and salivates, which makes you feel it's really real, feels real, but you don't fall for it. You know it's false. But yet, when the brain tells you that you're a different gender that you are, and it makes the body react just like it makes the body react in the case of the sour grape and the lime and lemon, and your mouth salivates, so it makes the body react to that idea. But you don't fall for that. But suddenly this one, oh, it makes it feel so real, so I must be it. You look at the logic. You're not using your awareness to be able to understand that this is a malfunction of the brain. Yet, for some things you believe, some things you don't. Why is it that you don't believe on the other ones, that body reacts to the thought just as the body reacts to the thought of your sexual orientation? You believe in this one. You get all fucked up with this one. But that one, that you actually salivate because you're thinking about sour grape. You don't believe that you just had a grape. You don't believe that you just had a lime and lemon. You don't fall for that, but you fall for this one. And you tell me the reason you believe it because it feels so real. Well, that one felt so real. You salivated because of that thought of sour grape and the lime and lemon. But you still don't believe it. Why? Because you use your intellect, you use your awareness. You have made a selection. You can open your eyes and see the actuality and virtuality are different. And you don't fall for the fact that the virtual thought has made your actual body react to it. You don't take that reaction as an evidence that the virtual non-existence of such idea and suggestion is actually true. You don't fall for it. But in the case of the sexual stuff, you're bamboozled. But you don't fall for the virtual effect of the brain's suggestion of the sour grape and the lime and lemon, which causes your actual body react and salivate. You don't fall for that, but you fall for similar reaction of the body reacting to a suggestion of the brain, but you take that as an evidence that the brain is right. I'm a different gender that I have always been and want to be. Why do you then go for this one and not go for that one? It's the same idea. It's because you simply always want to prove that you are what you love to be, and the fear of that not being causes you to be bamboozled and give a possibility of possibly, maybe I'm wrong, just because you're seeking assurances. And you got to learn this is how HOCD and OCD behaves in the brain. Educate yourselves. Don't fall for that bullshit. Have some guts, have some balls. Protect what you love, protect your principles. Our forefathers didn't just let go their land and their loved ones just because there was an attack on it. They stood their ground and defended it to death. But they didn't relinquish their post. And they survived and they protected what was dear to them. But here, nobody has balls. Oh, the thought showed up. It's so real. So, anyhow, the rest of it you guys figured out. Having said all that, there's hundreds of videos that I've made and explains it without anger. And the reason I get like this because many of you have been writing me every day and always the same shit. And I always explain and refer you to videos, explain and write about 10, 20 lines right there. It looks like you're just going to the deaf ears. As long as you don't want to put to work the science and research of the psychology, psychotherapists, and neuroscientists and neurosurgeons and all their experiments and the studies and research to work for you, you're going to fall at the mercy of some malfunctioning, fucked up brain, OCD brain, and ruin your lives. Rather than learn, this is an opportunity for you to become wiser and more educated about this topic, and then use it as an opportunity to become stronger, to become more clear about the function of the brain, how the psyche malfunctions, how the psyche is. It's an organ. It functions and malfunctions, and learn the reasons for malfunction, learn how to rewire it. These are your opportunities to become stronger and wiser. Yet you're laying down like a little donkey with a lame legs and hand and just ready to roll over and die. Constantly, please tell me I'm okay. I'm who I've always been. I don't need to tell you. You have all the research available to you, and you know who you are more than anything else. You don't even need a fucking research. What you want to be, what you wish to be, what you love to be, That's what it stands. The rest of it is bullshit. But there are techniques to learn it and to help your brain not to continue this virtual bullshit. And it's all out there, scientific way. Follow it instead of constantly everything comes to your head, you get affected by it. Apply the principles when these things come to your head so you can rewire your brain. That's what I want you guys to do. Not to keep seeking assurance. Oh, please tell me I'm okay. Oh, what is this? I read this there. Constantly apply the science. All right. Aman says 21 male India says, I told my friend the girl rejected me thing, but she showed she liked me. So my friend said, if something turn off in your personality. I don't know. I don't know what your friend said. I don't know what you told your friend. You guys coming here and talking to me about what your friend told you, and you want me to explain if your friend is this or not. It's always, again, assurances. I want you guys take your destiny in your hand through education and through knowledge and figure things out, and don't be so influenced by this friend saying this, that friend saying that, and this girl did this, that girl did this. My brain said I like shit, and my brain said I like lemon. My brain said I don't like kebab, and my brain said I like trees. I don't know. You guys need to respect yourself and start educating yourself rather than constantly being like a tree with no roots that the water and the river taking this tree anywhere it goes. Once you have roots, the tree stays in the riverbed and doesn't move, and the water has to branch away around it and move on. But the tree doesn't move. Be a tree, have roots. All right. Princeton says, I was right. I sensed a disturbance in the force on YouTube. And lo and behold, I see Master live streaming. Hello, I didn't know you have live stream at this hour. I didn't know either. I was bored. I went to the forest today and had a 1.5 hour hike. It was beautiful, very tranquil, very relaxing. Not too many people there at all. At times, it was so quiet. In fact, I put a little excerpts of my hike today on TikTok. My TikTok is Mind Seeks. If you guys want to check it out, I have lots of political stuff on it, but today I just had some tranquil things in regards to the hike I had, and it was very nice. And Ayushman says, thank you so much, sir, for looking into my problem yesterday. 23 Indian, and says, just wanted to know why she changed so fast, given the fact that I always kept the door open for leaving and for negotiating. But relationship kind of felt betrayed on this. That I asked your opinion on this, like what I should, like, should I think of her now and about the relationship when helped each other in many downfalls. That's why. Ayushman, I don't exactly remember. I remember something, but not everything. And I think I responded when you asked this originally, didn't I? And Ayushman says, I was always honest and well wisher for her. I tried only once for patch that too. I never begged. I always give her place to make decisions about relationship and respect that if ever fight happen, it's always about meet up, nothing. Uh-huh. The one that didn't have much time to meet with you, almost 3 years of relationship, breakup happened 3 months ago. She was 20, and at the time of it, I was always kind, even in the time of last call. Um, Says, thank you so much again. Sir. Look, it doesn't matter how kind we are to a woman. Sometimes women actually are not concerned about if you're a nice person or not. For some reason, or for some need that they have, maybe a better financial position, or someone that they have not been able to attract their attention and their compassion or their passion or their kindness towards themselves. So they find that person is still a challenge, but you who have already been kind and friendly and cordial and balanced with them, they no longer find you interesting because they seem to feel that they have already won your favor. And since they are not confident in themselves about their own existence and their own life and their own ability to negotiate life, somehow they don't have that self esteem or self respect or confidence that is necessary for them to navigate their ship in this ocean, in this journey of life. So then they suddenly think you're not that important. But not because you have changed your importance, because you're the same person that they cherished and they wanted to seek your attention. But now that you have given your attention to them, suddenly they seem to not value it as much as they did once. And that is not on you, that is on them. Lack of confidence, inwardly confidence in them, causes them not value what they have been seeking from you all this time. Now that you give it to them, it no longer has value. It's not because you have been devalued, it is because they cannot keep respect for their own decisions and preferences and choices. That is not your fault. And that is someone that you should stay away from because you cannot change them. They have a inner weakness in their conviction about believing in their own self. They will always look for something that has not paid attention to them. They're the kind of woman that actually end up going to bed with almost anybody who does not pay attention to them because they seek attention and they feed on the attention that they receive from other people. And once they get that attention, no longer is valued to them because they have this need for attention from just almost everybody to feel good about themselves. And the people who pay them less attention, they seem to be pursued by her more until she actually gets them to pay attention to them. Then, after a while, she loses interest in them too. It's not about them, it's not about you, it's about their own image that they have of themselves. And they often um, are unable to find themselves in comfort zone in front of other people. They always feel like maybe they're not good enough. And again, that's something that you can't help it. It's up to them. So don't worry about it, Ayushman. Just you've done your best, and if she can't follow you, if she can't appreciate you, that's her prerogative. What's most important is that you simply detach yourself from her and move on to other positive environments and the people who actually value you and continue valuing you because that's their choice and they have certain respect for their choice. So that's all. Respect their choice and don't follow them. Give them the freedom of whatever it is that they choose. You are not them. So you respect their choice and you protect them from your own desire, even. That's a real man. Protects women from all harm, including from his own selfishness, from his own desires, and does not pursue her once she has made up her mind and expressed it to him. And that's the way it should be. So you're at no fault. You're fine. And let her live her life. She's responsible for her own decisions. You're not. You can't say that you know better for her than she does, even though if it seems that way. But her logic is different than yours. Her needs are different than yours. Her needs are based on what makes her feel comfortable in her psyche. And you're not in her psyche. And thank God that you're not. Otherwise, you'd also be confused like she is and never content. So constantly branching to branch and branching to branch and hoping that all these jumping around would give you some kind of a confidence. And that's how you get your confidence. So be it. Let it be. But don't think that you're at any fault here. I don't think you are from what you've told me, with what you've said in here. All right. Aman says, I'm getting a 3 months fellowship for learning business study at Denmark. Ooh, that's pretty good. Says, I really want to go, but my Indian parents keep getting stubborn for not letting me go. They super protective about me. But protective, that's not protective. That's an opportunity for you to engage in a different culture for 3 months and come back. What do they think? They think you're a yogurt out of fridge and you're going to go bad? It's Denmark. They've got good cheese and yogurt anyhow. Talk to your parents and tell them, look, if you don't let me go, that means you don't have any belief in the way you have raised me, that you don't have belief in the way you have equipped me for challenges of life. This is an opportunity for me to learn about another culture, other people, and learn business. And when I come back here, having a certificate from Denmark and being able to use it here to get a better job would open many ways, many roads for me. So I would like to ask you to give me the permission to go and take advantage of this opportunity. And you know that I'll take care of myself, I'll be a good boy, and I'll finish my apprenticeship and come back. So talk with them. Rahul says, hi, sir, 34 male India. Says, wife stayed with me for 2 months, along with her mother for 1 month. And then 1 month, her grandmother stayed with me. We had good time for 2 months. But before 7 days back, she left again. Why? What's these whole hoopla for? Wasting time? The mother stays, grandmother stays. There's a chaperone there. And then everything was good. And then she leaves. What's the game here? And Rahul says, wife said I'm abusing my daughter sexually. Jesus, that's a very serious allegation. I'm so much in shock by hearing this from my wife. And that one day she got aggressive and tried to beat me. She beat me also and became very unstable. I didn't react and kept myself cool. I took leave from my office and took her at her parents' place. She's becoming so much paranoid and insecure regarding my daughter. What to do now? Well, I think you should report this incident to your parents and her parents and to a psychologist. You got to go to a psychologist and report. Of course, you consult with your parents, see what's good, because I come from a different culture here. I'm saying things that may not be right or wrong over there. So you got to make that decision yourself. Don't come back and tell me, oh, I shouldn't have done that. it worked against me and all that. I don't know what the rules are there. But here, obviously, you need to discuss that with some expert about this paranoia, and have some social worker talk to your daughter, and some doctor talk to her, and find out the roots of these. And it looks to me you should not be alone with that woman anymore. She's going to make accusations about your behavior towards her or towards your daughter, which is so outrageous. And of course, again, I don't know how things are there, but obviously it's quite unbelievable from what I know about you. So these sort of things, you gotta not let it be quiet. You gotta discuss it with parents or doctors and tell them this is what's happening, and you need some file to be made that such accusations are not becoming for your character and needs to be refuted and investigated. So it'll be one way or another. But obviously, when it gets like this, I don't think you should live with that woman anymore. Let her go and talk to your lawyers and seek their advice and see what is right to do, and talk to the parents, and get married with another woman and have another family and take care of your daughter. Obviously, she's got some mental issues. From here, that's what it seems to me, because this is news to me. It's never been like that. Obviously, she's setting up some kind of a illusion, and I don't know what their plans are. Bringing her mother, staying there, and these are all paranoia. Why would they bring the mother, stay there for 2 months, and the grandmother stay there 2 months? What's the big deal? What's happening? Again, I don't know all the facts, but this is what I'm thinking. You need to seek some legal advice from a lawyer, and possibly a psychologist, psychotherapists. Disclose this to your parents, to the lawyer, and get legal advice, because this looks fishy. Uh, for instance, as I noticed, many people are prone to believing intrusive thoughts. Was there ever an evolutionary purpose to why we have been wired that way? Are there times that intrusive thoughts have utility or no? Well, you see, we come from a million years of fear of being eaten by animals, dinosaurs at one time, and you know, tigers and wild animals at another time. So our amygdala was responsible to be very um, sensitive in order to save our lives. So when we were in a jungle and a sound of a breaking of a twigs and branches come through, we hear it. It was enough for amygdala to uh, create an alarm that this could be a danger of a wild animal, a dinosaur, a tiger, or whatever. I don't know if they lived at the same time, but whatever, it was dangerous there. And so we could flee by just an emotional danger signal released by the amygdala without having witnessed or having enough information about the intrusion, but the mere recognition of some unexpected sound would have caused to give a danger signal for us to have the sympathetic nerves act, and fight or flight get activated, and you escape without really knowing what it is that made the sound of the breaking of the twigs or branches in the jungle. It was enough to create that signal for you to escape. So amygdala is designed, but when overactive amygdala is continuously overacting, sends emotional danger signals when there is none in existence. But yet our body still triggers the fight and flight and freeze mechanism and reacts on it. Now, that reaction is now no longer limited to physical things such as dinosaur in the jungle or the tiger. It's now about virtual suggestions, and the brain does not tell the difference between virtuality and actuality. And the danger, virtuality, causes the same reaction as if it was an actual danger in physical world and how we would react. Now, it has also changed the quality of the danger to things that are not a physical danger to us, such as, again, attack of a, I don't know, a running rogue car or an animal, and is now expanded to dangers that are psychological and is not necessarily physically demonstratable at that moment, such as pure awe, the virtual OCD intrusive thoughts, such as sexual orientation, danger signals that are contrary to your preferences and to your sexual orientation, and other virtual, non-actual intrusive thoughts of the kind. So, and you combine that with the malfunction of the caudate nucleus, which is in the striatum in base of ganglia, designed as a lever to shut down the intrusive thought once it's recognized as intrusive thought. When that malfunctions, caudate nucleus doesn't shut down, doesn't work as it's designed to work. So the danger signal remains, continuously repeats itself, and the danger emotion prevails and creates a reality in the virtual world, creates a actual evidence to the virtual signal of the danger for the when the danger signal is received, the brain is powerful enough to create a reaction in the body involuntarily as a reflex, just like when you go to a doctor and the doctor says cross your legs and then hits the joint in your knee with a rubber hammer, and then your leg jumps up. That jumping up the leg is not your choice. It's a reflex because that rubber hammer was hit at the certain part of your joint and affects the tendons. And so that reflection that is not voluntarily, it's not chosen by you, it's a reflex of that hit to your knee. It becomes an evidence in the form of pure awe in this intrusive thoughts when the brain actually causes the body to react to an intrusive thought, and that reaction is not your choice, is unbeknown to you, but brain has the power to make the body react to an idea, and then the reaction, the actual reaction, the reflex of the body to that intrusive thought, to that idea, to that thought, becomes and forms to become an evidence in your awareness that, hey, since there was an actual reaction by the physical body, then this thought or suggestion by the brain must be actual, must be true. So you use that reaction as a reflex, the actual physical reaction of the body against that suggestion or thought or intrusive thoughts, as an evidence that the thought might be true. And that messes you all up. These are all malfunctions that needs to be uh, reprogrammed and helped to come to the default programming and default function. And so that needs education, understanding, and so on and so forth. And it could be of any kind in regards to any topic in life, but the one that is most focused on is the sexual orientation, because everybody who's been in a certain sexual orientation and happy with it all their life, suddenly they're faced with some intrusive thoughts and some malfunctions that they can't tell, they can't know, they don't know it's a malfunction. They start, for these reasons that I mentioned and many other reasons, they believe the actual intrusive thoughts, and then they go on a rampage to figure out what the hell it is, and confusion starts and all that. But in fact, these are all malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, and they should learn how to rewire and retrain the brain back to its default programming to function as it was designed for them to function in their case and for their gender and inclination. All right. Angie Martinez says, so true. Self love is so important. Hi, Miran, from Phoenix, Arizona, working overnight here at the hospital. Oh my goodness, Angie, where you be? Obviously, you know this program here, and your name is somewhat familiar, but I don't. You haven't been here for a while. I guess I must have forgotten. But thank you for being here with us and participating, and thank you for the kind words. I hope you're having a good, easy shift, and not too many people are sick, and that I appreciate your services to humanity, the job that you have chosen to fill your life and your journey, and so much respect for you um, who work at hospitals and take charge and responsibility for other people's health. Thank you for that. Kuro00 says, whoa, streaming again. Yes, it's second time this week, yeah? So it's only once a week. Yeah, Dostish. They may call themselves psychologists, but doesn't mean shit. There are many psychologists who are ignorant in regards to OCD. Just because somebody is a psychologist doesn't mean that they can understand OCD and subsets of OCD. In fact, if you ever wanted to go to any psychologist in regards to OCD, they must be specialized in OCD and OCD subsets, because not every psychologist has the understanding, education, and background in and research in understanding OCD. Dr. Schwartz has spent 30 years of his life research of OCD. That man understands about OCD. Dr. Philipson spent all his life researching and helping people in educating them about OCD and subsets of OCD, including HOCD and whatnot. Dr. Jan Rayner, these are specialists in these fields. Every psychologist has a special field. Like you call everybody engineer, but every engineer has a specialty. Not every engineer can do everything anybody else is doing. It depends on what their field of expertise and focus was in that field of engineering. Psychology is the same. If somebody writes some bullshit and it's maybe is written, somebody was convinced to do that, but that he's not saying that what they did to listen to their brain was correct. He just says they get so confused that they actually end up getting convinced and go do some extreme nonsense that they shouldn't have. You might have missed the actual message there, but whatever it was, if it was this kind of message, well, he's trying to aware people, warn people to be careful not to be convinced by your brain because the brain is stupid. And if he wasn't, then he's an idiot. He doesn't know much. So either way, you should just move on. Stop reading everything that you get your hand on because again, you're constantly looking for assurances, and that opens you up with all kind of shit and bullshit that creates confusion in the OCD brain of yours at the moment. So you need to stay away from the garbage and stand and stay close to reputable uh, researchers, such as research belonging to Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner. These are famous specialists in the field of OCD and substantive OCD. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry who calls themselves psychologists and talk about OCD and mislead people because they don't know shit. And most people want to fear people in order to have them call them and so on. So that's not the way. So now you got to make your choice and start ignoring these things and go about your life and reprogram your brain in a correct way. Rahul says, I think she's having delusion regarding my daughter. I asked her, why you thinking like this? My daughter is my everything. She said she's unable to stop these thoughts. What should she do? If she's asking you your help, well, you can tell her that she might be having problem with intrusive thoughts, and perhaps she needs to talk to some specialist psychologists, psychotherapists in regards to intrusive thoughts, not just any psychologist, as I just mentioned. Otherwise, they don't know shit. They don't know what they're telling her. Rahul says, I have planned to consult her to a physicist, physiotherapist, psychiatrist. Oh, yeah, psychiatrist. Bahor, her mindset is not well. It's my duty to get her proper treatment and consultation. I should support her in this instability. Yes, that's a good idea. If she's admitting to the fact that she's got problem, I thought she has no psychological problem, but she's just being vicious or going nuts or something, that would be different. But if she's having and admitting and is willing to get help from psychiatrists, then that's great. Stand by her and help her. But make sure you cover yourself as far as any accusation that she might make, whether sane or insane, whether aware or not aware. You should always, in such situation, be in her presence with another witness, whether it's going to be your relative, if she brings her mom or grandma, maybe you should bring your grandma because I don't know what their plans are. This business of bringing mother and grandmother, I don't know if they have any plan to defame you someday, or the mother and the grandmother are going to be actually fair and balanced, and they're not there for any devious plans. So either way, once you take her to a psychologist and she starts talking to the psychotherapist, and then at least there's a file so she can accuse you of something, because these things seem so weird to me. And so I just want to protect you to make sure that this is not some kind of a plan that she wants to, I don't know, use it to divorce you or something. So she's going to use some, I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know if it's something wrong with her. It is really genuinely she's feeling ill. So either way, make sure you're protected as far as having a witness with you when you have serious talks so they can see your behavior and her behavior, so she can't go on and say, oh, you beat her or you did something which you didn't, or accuse you about something about your daughter. So I don't know. I can't tell much more. I don't know exactly what's going on, but protect yourself legally and have a witness so there would be no accusation that would be detrimental to your reputation and cause a hardship. Angie Martinez says, yes, long ago. It says, thank you so much. You're welcome, Angie. And Angie says, what is your virtual hug? Virtual hug? Favorite tea these days? Much love, Meran, and we appreciate your time. My pleasure, Angie, and thank you for the kind words. My favorite tea these days is roasted dandelion roots. Roasted dandelion roots. Not the leaves, but roasted roots, which is some taste between coffee and tea, but of course it's good for you. It's got no caffeine or anything. And it grows on you and it's an interesting taste. It's got a body and it's a little bit bitterness, but not a bad bitterness. And it's lovely, actually. I've been drinking that for a long time now. I guess at least a year. Uh, okay, guys. It seems to me that this is time for me to say goodnight. Is 1 hour and 17 minutes. The time here is 12:26, 26 minutes past 12. It's time for me to maybe watch a movie or have some tea, refresh my tea. And it's time for me to say, I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I wish you well. I hope you take good care of yourselves. And I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, remember, if you need to talk to me, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. Make an appointment for a Skype consultation. For a 1 hour Skype consultation, I'll add another half an hour, and we'll have plenty of time to get acquainted and discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mindthatseekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.